trouble, though, honestly. We can waste so much energy running around trying to protect ourselves from the outside thing that might get us. That's not the way to approach it, to be truthful. I mean, in the meantime, and you can do that if you want to. However, why waste your energy on running around unplugging things and putting your TVs out, burying them out in the backyard and this kind of stuff? You're not going to win it that way. You're not going to protect yourself that way. All you have to do, if you put all that energy into simply saying, okay, I'm going to go out and do my salutation this morning and run my codes. Do that twice a week. That's all you have to do. You can still watch TV. You can still listen to music. You can do anything you want if you use the Maharic Shield and you use these 2 protection codes that will assist you. So this is one of the things. This is one of the tricks that's part of the disinformation program, where you get so nervous you start to realize, oh my God, they're really doing this. You want to stop it. But the way to stop it isn't interfacing with it this way. It's going up and using frequency itself, by frequency with frequency. And then you can enjoy the TV and enjoy whatever else you want, knowing you're safe.
I just wanted to say that if people feel their energy field dropping, know that it's a real phenomenon.
Yes. I'm glad you said that, because it is true. We're hit with it all the time. Michael and I get hit with all sorts of weird stuff here, in Sarasota. And we're beginning now. We've been so busy, we hardly ever have time to even do like a daily or a weekly routine with the techniques, because we're so busy preparing the stuff for everybody else. But we've committed to at this point that as soon as this workshop is done, we are starting with a minimum of two every morning, getting out like every maybe 2 times a week, maybe 3, maybe more, depending on if we feel we need it. Doing the salutations. It's serious business now. And if you want to, make sure you're safe and keep your integrity, where you don't have to waste so much of your thought energy on protection from an outside thing getting you, because that's the wrong way to approach it. Just simply make a commitment to doing, even twice a week, the salutations with the Tri-Veca and Bi-Veca codes.
Well, the other part of my question was, what would be the logistics of getting this number of, round tables done? What would be really the logistics of getting 144,000 accomplished?
Well, 144 is a lot more likely than 144,000 on top of that. They know that. They know that. That's another thing. All right. There are some things. Now, round tables are very hard to set and project. All right, because they have to run through a frequency field, and they tend to lose momentum and lose coding, and can pick up additional coding by running through. So that's why we end up not doing them remote 90% of the time. So as far as, first of all, if we don't manage to get the Bi-Veca ones done, the 144,000, we will still have enough. If we can get the 144 Tri-Veca ones done, that will be enough to create, at least localized in some areas of the globe, there will be safe zones. And that would be the point where, we start letting people know, like, excuse me, this is what's going on. You want to come or don't you? You know what I mean? So all is not lost if we don't manage to make the 144,000. We're going to get a lot of help. I'm not sure exactly how, but I can feel it. In fact, they're kind of pushing that at me right now. There's going to be some events, I don't know what they are, that assist in the whole awakening process, is what I'm being told. Okay. I wouldn't doubt it if maybe at some point they're going to stage a mass like, hello, something's up here, so maybe people start paying attention and become interested in assisting. But for now, we haven't been given any more to do than the 24 sites. You also have to realize with these 24 sites, they are main control bases that are fully linked in to all the grids. As we clear these, they will be broadcasting this frequency and setting major intercept zones. And we still need to do the 144 physical manual ones. I'm hoping that they haven't said yes or no yet, and I think it depends on how the frequency fields go with the 144. If we can possibly do some of them remote with their help, that would help a lot, because then small groups of us could, wherever we live, do a small round, and they'll give us if we're going to do this, they will give me a technique to show you as far as how we do it and project it to the site we're aiming for. So there's more to come on this. This is just the beginning, kind of like the first wave of, okay, this is what's going on. They figure we can remember it easier. If it's like, if you go to step 6, it's not going to happen for 4 years. You forget what you're supposed to do now. You know what I mean? You get preoccupied. So this is the first level of what's been given. This is big time. I mean, as far as the information we've dealt with, we were never given anything like this before. But everything I can see that we had before was to build up to in case it became necessary for this. So, anyway, I wouldn't worry about it, okay? where there's a will, there's a way, and we have a lot of assistance, a lot more than there is resistance. They just don't realize it yet out here. Okay, there's going to be a lot more support coming. Yes.
Even though there's a lot of assistance, isn't it true that we have to be on site in order to do the work?
So far, yes. He said.
Repeat your question for the else.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it said, isn't it true that even though there's a lot of assistance, we need to be on site for the work? Now, so far, for the Rainbow Roundtables, that has been the case. They need the physical bodies there to anchor. They need you to anchor frequency right through, because you're not going to get as strong a projection if you try to visualize it going there. You'll get some, but you won't get as strong as a link field, because your D3 frequency is talking to the planetary D3 frequency right below your feet. So I know that we have to do at least the tables that have been identified. There may be another plan. They did say something about, and they're not telling me where it fits yet, that there would be a world peace dance movement. The Merkaba dance. Right? You know how people love to do like airheaded New Age things? There's a lot of people out there, they don't want to know real stuff, but they'll do anything if they say, you know, Star Brother so-and-so taught me, and they'll just like, you know, they'll go off and do anything. They have a plan, they haven't revealed it to me yet, where we're going to be taught how to be teachers to the sleepers. All right? Sleeper teachers. We were sleepers once. We're just kind of like rubbing our eyes waking up here going, oh boy. But the people that are still not ready for this level of data, and it would take too long to get them awake, there are ways to get them involved with doing the right thing through their own Christos template, so you're not forcing anything on them, where they'd enjoy it, get benefit from it, and help the planet at the same time, even if they didn't care if they were helping the planet. So I know there is a program coming that has to do with this, but it hasn't been showed to me yet. And I think the internet features very largely in it, as far as moving technique through to get people to start, you know, hey, let's do this. There may be more to it than that, and I think there probably is. I just don't know what it is yet. But I feel this, like, bubble of excitement around it. Like, what are you up to? I know it's going to be good, right? I can feel something in it. This is the interface point where the indigo, the small indigo group, started to wake up. This is the first wave indigo people, right? There are 550,000 indigos out there, okay? They're not all awake yet. So they're going to start waking. They're going to be giving transmissions through the planetary grids that starts to wake up the indigo DNA, which means they'll start to realize there's something more that they need to understand. I get the feeling that this work is going to expand. I had the feeling, too, and I told Michael this, that, you know, it's like birthing a child. Once it comes out, it kind of takes on a life of its own, and you can assist it, you can nurture it, but you just get out of its way, basically, once it starts to grow up. This is going to happen. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I know the work is going to expand into more, I don't know if it would be mainstream, but it would at least be, you know, more into the main New Age community, so there will be more people joining us. They've been told that, so, you know.
Can I share?
Yeah.
One of the things that's been downloaded to me is the Jehovian imprint that needs to be acknowledged by us, for us to heal it so it doesn't create the separation it's designed. And I just share it with you and see if this feels right. But one of the major ones that we're dealing with is righteousness, and how we use that to justify our position, whatever it might be within this material. We can take our mental body, justify our position with this material even, go into righteousness and create separation amongst the group. And so one of the things that they showed me is that if we had all have a chance to really unify, start to notice if you're going into separation among each other with righteousness, because that is a clear Jehovian manipulation.
Yeah.
And if that's happening, then command it to leave and command the, you know, do the merging, do the techniques. Yeah. But that's really we're really going to be downloaded with that. It's going to be activated to create separation among us and mistrust.
Yes.
That's the way they're going to try to do it.
Yeah, very much so. And I'm so used to this. From the moment I stepped out and started speaking, it started, and I was amazed. It was, huh? Why don't the people in New Age, why aren't they being nice to me? I'm being nice to them. One of the things, the oldest tricks in the book is conquer through division. All right? Now, you can only conquer through division people who leave themselves open for it. All right? Open for it means, first of all, do you need to make other people wrong by thinking you're more right than they are? Because even if you are, it doesn't matter. Are you worried about being right or being effective? These are things you can put in any situation in your life. We have been trained to make sure we're right, okay, to take action. We've been trained and conditioned that we need to be right, and very often that ends up having to make someone else wrong. At this point in the game, one of the tricks of separation, of conquering through division, is one has to be right and the other has to be wrong. You can find yourself saying, well, that person's doing this and I don't think it's right. That person should be doing it this way. Worry about you. Okay? That's one thing. Another thing is people are going to be processing all over the place. DNA activations do all sorts of wild things in your system. You'll have good days and bad days. There will be days when people, you are processing energy and you feel awful. If you can remember on those days not to take it out on the people around you, but at the same token, if you can remember that other people are processing too. There's an old saying that it does as much harm to love and unity to take offense as it does to give offense. This is where you learn to swallow your pride and your ego, and you say, well, if I'm interpreting what so-and-so did as a way that's offending me, maybe they didn't mean it, maybe they did. It doesn't even matter at this point. If you go into defense towards someone because you feel they're being offensive to you, you are separating the frequency of vibrational harmonization, which means you're diluting your ability to amplify each other's power and strength through the love frequency. So if you can memorize that one, it creates as much destruction. Destruction is a good way to look at it because that's exactly what it's doing to frequency building. To take offense as it does to give offense. That means don't play victimizer, don't play victim either, okay? If somebody's doing something to you you don't like, or you misinterpreted possibly something they said, or maybe you didn't misinterpret it and maybe they really meant it offensively, try to go to a space where you can let people be who they are and love them anyway, all right? And love yourself anyway. If we can learn to not be so hard in judgment on ourselves and each other, we will not be able to be separated and conquered through the vision. This is what has made it so indigos have repeatedly had to come back here in this role, because we have repeatedly been conquered through division, because you get us all stirred up, and we're very sensitive people, and we're very aware and intelligent people, and all of us know we're right. Okay? Which is fine. But allow everybody else the opportunity to know they're right too. We're both right, and if we're not seeing eye to eye on something, there's a reason for that. I will allow you to be your right, and you will allow me to be my right. Let's call it a truce. Okay?
I feel like we're really moving into a very vulnerable state right now. Emotionally, I feel it in the group, and I feel it in the reflections. So I just feel like if we all set that intent and really ground it in our hearts with each other in our communications, it will create the best protection that we can do. So
it also helps to look at, if you have problems with anybody or issues with anybody, it also helps to, if you're seeing stuff that's really bugging you about somebody, even to the point where you might be getting bitchy and picking on them, which really isn't a good thing to do to show you, it doesn't help, okay? You can go to a place where you can realize, I'm seeing one polarity right now. Where's the other? Try to find the good things about the person or the situation. Don't let yourself get stuck in the agitation of negative polarity, because it'll take your emotional body and run with it, and it'll get you going in a negative spiral that drains a lot of your energy, and that weakens your astral field, which leaves you more open to attack. All right? You are in a situation where you're assisting with a mission that there's a lot of resistance to. There's a lot more assistance than there is resistance. But we are still, it would be very naive to think that if one of us didn't have enough protection in our fields, that one of the other fallen angelic matrices wouldn't try to come in and do something. Of course they would. We're valuable territory. Indigos are the greatest thing you can grab if you're a fallen angelic. If you can get into their fields and get control over them and move them, they have the codes, the security codes to the planetary grids. If you can get them going in reverse, they're like a gold mine. You'd need about 10,000 regular 12-strand humans to accomplish what you could do with one body-snatched indigo. So don't be naive, but don't be paranoid either. You don't need to be paranoid, all right? It's not as if it's any different, because these forces have been moving with us ever since we came in. We might have wondered why our lives went certain ways, and it was kind of strange, and it seems like there's been a lot of, can't life let up sometimes, There's a reason for that. It's not that you have, all of a sudden, because you're involved with this work, that now you're a target for fallen angelic negativity. You were since the moment you came in as a streak of light, because they saw you coming in. They know we're all here. All right? So if we can work on basic interpersonal skills and basic spirituality 101 stuff, mindfulness, choosing kindness, choosing love, even when you feel angry, choosing ways to honor your anger in ways that don't dishonor yourself or other people. Basic laws of emotional body management. Don't let your emotions drag your mind around. It's supposed to work the other way, but don't repress them either. They're your best friend if you let them clear. Emotional clearing time will be needed for each of us in our own way. That doesn't mean you go kick the dog a few times, all right? The dog has nothing to do with it. It means if you have to go punch a pillow, do it. If you have to go cry in the bathroom, do it. Let the emotion out. You have to realize something, that emotion is energy that's in chaotic form right now because of the way the planetary grids have been operating. Now, if we're going to be harmed by it, if we're going to let that energy come up and run us over, we're going to be in trouble because we need to maintain clarity. We're supposed to be able, if we're the first wake-up team, we're the ones the others look to as leaders.
Oh, yeah.
Scary thought, isn't it? You know? That doesn't mean we walk around with our noses in the air. God, we'll be lucky if we can crawl through the gates the rate we're going, but at least we'll get there, right? So it's really important at this point to realize we're entering a big, amazing drama that nobody's had a chance to in literally thousands of years, and it requires some maturity. And if that maturity isn't there, it will begin to show itself very rapidly, and that's okay, because there are parts of each of us that are very mature and parts that have been repressed in order to allow the other part to mature. Those parts that were pushed aside until the other part could get to a high level of maturity will now come out to integrate. You can't, the worst thing you can do is beat up on yourself and say, God, I thought I had a level, but I guess I don't because I'm acting like a jerk today. Don't even label yourself like that. Give yourself permission to have a process, the process of growth and expansion, and give that permission to everybody else. And if you use the basic rule of kindness, am I being kind? Before I use these words, are they kind, honestly? Think about things like that, and you won't allow openings for conquer through division, not with the group, or not with your own family, or not with your own self. So it's time to, brush up on the spiritual. What do I know about being spiritual? Time to pull it out of the pocket and dig it out of the dresser drawer and start using it on a daily level. And it will bring us to levels personally where all sorts of things are going to open up in you now. The frequency is to wake up, the indigos are coming, and we're the first that are going to be hit with it. That means your higher parts are going to be talking to you a mile a minute, and you're going to be trying to learn how to hear them. Some of you can already hear them, some can't. We have to open the channels. We have to open the DNA strands and learn how to sequence information before we'll get verbal translation like this. Gosh, I've been trained since I was literally 7 years old to do translation like this. It doesn't come like that overnight. We must have had 40 billion papers with chicken scratch on them before we got to the point where we could have something that had something to say. So it's a process you're going to be going through. Help each other. Help yourself. And gentleness and love are the way to do it. And forgiveness before the fact. Then there's nothing to worry about forgiving. Just move on to the next moment. Try to make it a better one.